Ford and Toyota, two of the biggest car makers on the planet, have officially taken a step that could change how you buy cars forever. They're cutting out the middleman, that's right, the dealerships, and moving straight to a direct-to-consumer model. Yep, just like Tesla. No more haggling, no more inflated markups, just straight factory-to-driver sales. And the ripple effects, they're massive. For decades, dealerships have been the heart of the car buying experience, and the biggest complaint from customers. Between hidden fees, waiting lists, and ridiculous market adjustments, the public's trust has been fading fast. But now Ford and Toyota are saying enough. They've seen how Tesla built a loyal fan base with transparent online ordering and want a piece of that action. Ford CEO Jim Farley has been hinting at this move for over a year, saying that the future of car sales is digital. He even called the traditional dealership model broken, and now that vision is becoming reality. Ford's new system will let buyers order their vehicles directly from the company website, choose their specs, financing, and delivery options, all without stepping foot into a dealership. Dealers won't disappear overnight, but their role is about to shrink big time. And Toyota? They're not sitting on the sidelines either. After years of cautious moves, they're finally joining the direct sales revolution. Insiders say Toyota is piloting a new factory direct program in select regions where customers buy online and pick up the car from a local delivery hub, not a traditional dealership. This isn't just a test, it's a warning shot to every automaker still clinging to the old model. The reason is simple: consumers have changed. People don't want to spend hours negotiating prices or dealing with pushy salespeople. They want to buy cars like they buy everything else, online, fast, and transparent. And Ford and Toyota know that if they don't evolve, they'll get left behind by the brands that do. But here's where it gets interesting. The backlash has already started. Dealership associations across the US are furious. They're calling it unfair, even illegal, claiming it violates state franchise laws designed to protect dealers. Some states like Texas and Michigan still ban direct car sales altogether, which means this could spark one of the biggest legal battles the auto world has ever seen. And yet, both Ford and Toyota seem ready for the fight. Ford's already restructured its EV business into a separate division, giving it more flexibility to sell electric cars directly. Toyota, on the other hand, has been watching Tesla's margins, and they're realizing how much money they've been leaving on the table by letting dealers control the final sale price. But the biggest question everyone's asking right now is, what happens next? If Ford and Toyota can successfully pull this off, we could be witnessing the end of the traditional dealership era. Imagine ordering your next car online in minutes, tracking its delivery like an Amazon package, and skipping the entire dealership circus altogether. Sounds pretty good, right? Yet behind the scenes, this shift isn't just about convenience. It's about power, data, and control. Automakers want full access to customer data: who's buying, how they're financing, and when they're ready to upgrade. That information used to belong to dealers, not anymore. And once Ford and Toyota take full control of the buying car experience, they'll also control the relationship with you, the customer. And that's the real game changer here. Ford and Toyota aren't just selling cars anymore, they're building ecosystems. Think about it. Once they control the entire purchase process, they can integrate subscription services, over-the-air updates, personalized maintenance plans, even insurance, all bundled right into your ownership experience. This isn't just about skipping the dealership, it's about transforming how we own vehicles entirely. Ford's already experimenting with connected services through its Blue Oval platform, subscription features, software upgrades, and vehicle data tracking that could generate billions in recurring revenue. Meanwhile, Toyota's investing heavily in its Smart Connected initiative, which links vehicles directly to the cloud for predictive maintenance and real-time updates. These systems only work if the automaker owns the customer relationship end to end, and that's exactly what this new sales model gives them. Dealers, on the other hand, are scrambling. Many are terrified that this move will render their business models obsolete. Some are trying to pivot, positioning themselves as delivery and service partners rather than sales hubs. Others are fighting back, rallying state legislators to block direct sales laws before they spread nationwide. But let's be honest, it's like trying to stop a tidal wave with a sandbag. The world has changed, and consumers are demanding a new experience. And this shift isn't happening in isolation. Once Ford and Toyota make this model work, you can bet others will follow. GM, Honda, Volkswagen, all of them will be forced to adapt or risk risk losing massive market share. Because here's the truth, the days of walking into a dealership, waiting for a manager approval, and getting hit with mystery fees are numbered. Even luxury brands are watching this closely. BMW, Mercedes, and Lexus are already exploring agency-style models in Europe, where dealers act as fulfillment centers instead of independent sellers. It's a hybrid approach, one that gives automakers control while keeping a physical footprint for customers who still want that in-person experience. But if Ford and Toyota can prove that full direct-to-consumer works in the US, the floodgates open. And let's talk about the impact this could have on pricing. If manufacturers sell directly, they set one national price, transparent, consistent, and without markups. No more $10,000 market adjustments or bogus add-ons for nitrogen-filled tires. This could completely reshape how people perceive car buying, making it fairer, faster, and far more predictable. But of course, there's another side to this story, one that's not being talked about enough. What happens to the thousands of local dealerships and their employees? The small-town Ford and Toyota stores that have been community staples for decades. If automakers go fully digital, some of these businesses could vanish overnight, and that's where things start to get messy. Because here's the uncomfortable truth, this revolution might create winners at the top, but leave a trail of casualties behind. Those family-owned dealerships that have survived for generations are suddenly staring down extinction. They've weathered recessions, chip shortages, and EV transitions, but this is a total shift in the ecosystem. Some dealers have already started consolidating, selling off smaller lots, or converting their showrooms into service-only centers. Others are furious, accusing Ford and Toyota of betrayal, saying they built their empires on the backs of local dealerships and are now cutting them out of the picture. And yet, from the automaker's perspective, this isn't betrayal, it's evolution. The market's moving online, customer expectations have changed, and digital convenience is king. Ford and Toyota are just doing what every other industry has already done, cutting inefficiencies. Airlines went online, retail went online, even real estate has gone hybrid. The only thing that stayed stuck in the past, car buying. Now, here's where the story gets even more explosive. Ford and Toyota's bold moves are shaking Wall Street too. Investors are loving this direction. Analysts are calling it a margin revolution. When automakers sell directly, they cut out dealer commissions, reduce inventory costs, and can control pricing power like never before. It's leaner, more profitable, and gives them the ability to pivot faster when new models or tech updates drop. But that's not all. Insiders are whispering that both Ford and Toyota are quietly building something even bigger, a digital retail ecosystem that could rival Amazon. Imagine a platform where you can buy, finance, insure, and even trade in your old car, all through one unified system. Ford's already testing it with its Model E division, while Toyota's investing in AI-driven pricing tools to make the process smoother and more personalized. And here's the kicker, this isn't just about selling cars, it's about building loyalty. Once they've got you in their digital ecosystem, every software update, every service reminder, every accessory purchase goes straight through them. No middleman, no markup, 100% profit retention. It's genius and terrifying, depending on which side you're on. But while the automakers are racing ahead, regulators are starting to ask tough questions. If Ford and Toyota gain total control over both distribution and data, could this lead to monopolistic power? Could they use pricing algorithms to eliminate competition? And what happens to consumer choice if state laws can't keep up with this digital transformation? The government hasn't caught up yet, but it will. And when it does, this could ignite one of the biggest regulatory showdowns in automotive history. And let's not forget, the customers are watching all of this unfold in real time. Social media is blowing up with mixed reactions. Some people are thrilled, saying, finally, no more dealer games. Others are skeptical, warning that without dealers, customer service could suffer, and small-town America might lose hundreds of jobs. It's a classic tug of war between progress and preservation, but the real question now isn't if this will happen, it's how fast. Because once Ford and Toyota prove that a direct-to-consumer model works, the rest of the industry will have no choice but to follow. The domino effect could reshape everything we know about car ownership, manufacturing, and even the role of the dealership itself. And behind closed doors, every automaker's boardroom is in full panic mode, asking the same question right now. Are we next? That's the question echoing through executive offices across Detroit, Tokyo, and Wolfsburg. Every major automaker knows they can't afford to ignore this shift, but they also know jumping in too fast could backfire. Some are terrified of the dealer backlash. Others are afraid of the legal chaos chaos that could erupt if states push back against direct sales. But here's the thing, waiting might be even riskier. Ford and Toyota are seizing the first mover advantage, and if they lock down consumer trust now, it'll be nearly impossible for others to catch up. Inside sources say that several automakers are quietly running pilot programs under the radar, small-scale online sales platforms disguised as reservation systems. They're testing how far they can push the direct model before regulators or dealer associations notice. It's like a digital arms race, with everyone trying to see who can modernize without lighting a legal firestorm. But make no mistake, the public is choosing sides fast. Younger buyers, especially Gen Z and millennials, are embracing the idea they don't want to waste a Saturday negotiating in a showroom. They want a clean, app-based experience where everything from color choice to delivery date happens with a few taps. Ford and Toyota are betting the future of their companies on that mindset, and it's not just about EVs anymore. While Tesla pioneered the direct model with electric cars, Ford and Toyota are expanding it across their entire lineup, from hybrid SUVs to gas trucks. That's what's making the industry panic. This isn't niche, this is mainstream, and once everyday models like the RAV4 or F-150 can be bought directly from the factory, the traditional dealership model could crumble faster than anyone predicted. Meanwhile, dealership owners are flooding lawmakers with calls, donations, and lawsuits. They're arguing that direct sales will kill local competition, raise prices, and strip consumers of face-to-face service. But consumers are calling their bluff. They're tired of the games, the fees, and the markups. And when buyers start voting with their wallets, online, even the strongest lobbying groups might not be able to stop the wave. Behind the scenes, both Ford and Toyota are preparing for that battle. They're restructuring logistics, building massive digital infrastructure, and retraining their regional managers to handle an entirely new kind of customer journey. This isn't about cutting out dealers overnight, it's about creating a system that makes them optional. A future where the car buying experience revolves around you, not a salesman with a clipboard. But there's another layer to this, one that could completely change how we think about owning a car. Because once Ford and Toyota control the full customer pipeline, they can introduce flexible ownership models, monthly subscriptions, pay-per-mile plans, even lifetime service bundles that turn cars into rolling revenue streams. And if that sounds familiar, it's because that's exactly how tech companies operate. These automakers are no longer just manufacturers, they're becoming tech platforms on wheels. And that's where things start to get really interesting, because Silicon Valley is watching too. Apple, Amazon, and Google have all been dipping their toes into the automotive world, from in-car software to self-driving tech. And now, with Ford and Toyota rewriting the rules of car sales, those tech giants might finally see an opening to jump in head first. Imagine buying a smart car through your Amazon account, having it delivered to your driveway, synced to your Google Home, and updated over the air through Apple's ecosystem. That's not science fiction anymore. That's the direction this is heading. And if that happens, the traditional boundaries between automaker, dealer, and tech company vanish completely. The car industry as we know it, dealerships, salespeople, inventory lots, even the idea of buying a car outright could become relics of the past. Because in this new era, you won't just drive your car, it'll drive your digital life. And that's exactly what's got everyone from Detroit to Silicon Valley in a frenzy. Because this isn't just disruption, it's convergence. The car is becoming the next smartphone, and whoever controls that screen in your dashboard controls billions in future revenue. Ford and Toyota know it. Tesla already proved it. And now every tech company on Earth wants in on the ride. Think about what's coming. In-car streaming subscriptions, cloud-connected navigation, real-time driver analytics, voice assistants that can book your service appointments automatically. These aren't bonus features anymore. They're billion-dollar ecosystems. The line between automaker and software company is blurring fast, and Ford and Toyota's direct sales pivot is the final piece that makes it all possible. When they own the customer relationship, they own the data, and that's the goldmine everyone's chasing. Dealerships? They've never had access to that kind of data. They sold cars, serviced them, and that was it. But with this new model, every time you start your car, use the infotainment system, or even charge your EV, that data feeds straight back to the automaker. They can use it to design better vehicles, target customers with personalized offers, and predict exactly when you'll want to upgrade. It's the same playbook Apple used with the iPhone: build the ecosystem, then monetize it endlessly. And here's the wild part: most consumers won't even notice the shift happening. They'll just see convenience. Buy online, instant delivery, personalized dashboards, seamless updates. But behind that convenience is a silent revolution, one that transforms car ownership into a continuous digital subscription. You won't just buy a car once, you'll be paying into it forever. And for Ford and Toyota, that's the real end game. Now imagine the domino effect. Once these giants prove the model works, every other automaker from Hyundai to GM to Mercedes will have no choice but to follow or die trying. The industry won't compete on horsepower anymore. It'll compete on software, connectivity, and experience. Your car will become an extension of your phone, your home, your life. And that means whoever controls the connection controls the customer. But here's where it gets tricky. Not everyone's ready for a world without dealerships. Older buyers still value that in-person interaction, the test drive, the trust of a local dealer they've known for years. Losing that human touch could alienate a big portion of traditional buyers, especially in rural areas where digital adoption is slower. Ford and Toyota are betting that convenience will win over loyalty, but that's a massive gamble. Meanwhile, lawmakers are being pulled in every direction. On one hand, they're being pressured by dealer associations that employ hundreds of thousands of people nationwide. On the other, they're hearing from consumers demanding modernization and fairer pricing. It's becoming a political tug of war: progress versus preservation, innovation versus tradition. And somewhere in the middle, the future of the car industry is being rewritten. But while the US grapples with this battle, something even more fascinating is happening overseas. In Europe, the agency model, where automakers sell directly and dealers act as delivery partners, is spreading fast. Mercedes, BMW, and Volvo have already switched, and Toyota's European arm is testing it too. Ford's watching closely, taking notes, and preparing to bring that model stateside once the legal dust settles. And when that happens, it won't just be a shift, it'll be a full-blown revolution. Because when you combine digital direct sales, connected car ecosystems, and software-driven revenue, you're not just changing how cars are sold, you're changing what a car is. It's no longer a product, it's a platform. And Ford and Toyota are positioning themselves at the center of that transformation, rewriting 100 years of industry tradition with one bold, risky move. But here's the question nobody's asking. What happens when consumers realize that with all this connectivity, their car is also watching them? Every drive, every route, every preference stored in a cloud they don't control. Privacy advocates are already warning that direct-to-consumer could mean direct-to-surveillance. And if that turns out to be true, this shiny new era of customer convenience could come with a hidden cost we're not ready for. And that's the paradox at the heart of this revolution. On one hand, direct-to-consumer sales promise convenience, transparency, and a seamless digital experience. On the other, it hands enormous power to the automakers, giving them unprecedented control over your data, your pricing, and even your ownership experience. It's a thrilling, almost sci-fi vision of the future, but also one that raises serious questions about privacy, fairness, and who really benefits when the middleman is gone. So what does this mean for you, the consumer? In the short term, it likely means better pricing and a faster, smoother buying experience. You can order your next Ford F-150 or Toyota Corolla online, configure it exactly how you want, and have it delivered without ever stepping into a dealership. Financing, insurance, and service packages will be easier to access, and the risk of hidden fees or high-pressure sales tactics will drop dramatically. But in the long term, this could reshape car ownership entirely. Cars may become subscription services where you pay monthly for usage, upgrades, and access to new features.